Welcome to the Box Score, sponsored by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. And it's Kerry Collins and Murphy Fair, and it's playoff time, Murph. Exciting time of year.
What we've been waiting for, the second season, if you will. Pretty exciting regular season considering what we had to go through a year ago with COVID and all the restrictions that went along with it. But things kind of back to normal, and there's some really going to be tight games this coming weekend in the first round.
Definitely are. We've got Clay County at Gordonsville was our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week last week, and Gordonsville, after jumping up 14-0, hangs on for a 21-14 win. And looking at our KFC Taco Bell of Gordonsville and Smithville stats of the week, of course, Gordonsville, the number 7 ranked team coming in. Their only loss to Trousdale County. Clay County, the number 2 team, at a record of 9-0. It was a great game in Gordonsville. Gordonsville missed some opportunities in that game, Murph. I know they got inside the 10-yard line there a couple of times and didn't score, including one there at the end of the first half. But statistically, Gordonsville kind of dominated the game with 363 total yards.
I was just going to say, when you look at that comparison, 363 to 230, you'd think it was a 2 or 3 touchdown ball game, but it was tight all the way through. Even when Gordonsville, I was there, went up 14-0. You know that Clay County team was capable of putting it in the end zone at any time, and they did a couple of times. So it was probably not the last meeting between those two this year, I'd say.
Well, South Pitt's probably going to have a little something to say with that. Of course, Clay County looking at them in that second round. Go ahead and look at some individual stats from the game. Nate Adams for Clay County, 10 of 19, 116 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jeff Spivey had a 58-yard touchdown reception. For Gordonsville, Matthew Albritton, another great night, 15 of 24, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, also 18 rushes for 117 yards. And then Landon Baker, who is kind of their go-to receiver, 8 receptions, 100 yards, and a couple of scores.
Albritton had a great run in the first half when he took it down to the 1-yard line, I think, deep in Gordonsville territory, and set up a real easy touchdown to give Gordonsville some great momentum early on.
Let's look at some highlights of the Tigers and the Bulldogs. Coach Scott Clemens' squad in the blue jerseys.
There's that run right there.
See Albritton right there breaking free, and Clay County in hot pursuit. And they'll track him down somewhere around the 1-yard line. But, you know, when you look at Albritton and his speed, and then Musgrove finishes the drive with a 1-yard run, you take Albritton right there, showed a lot of speed, Murph.
Really did, and some great deception there in the backfield to really throw Clay County off as to who actually had the football.
And Albritton hits Landon Baker on a touchdown pass, and then deja vu once again. Baker did a good job of adjusting to the football right there.
Pretty good highlight reel. Beat him with the run, beat him with the pass. One thing I noticed in the stands, if those who are familiar with Turney Ford Field, the film crew has to be on the home side. That's where the press box is. So we were looking at the Clay County crowd, and they had more blue and white tents over there than there were on the home side.
Right. I saw a picture of that earlier. DeKalb County played Stone Memorial, very, very close ball game. DeKalb County wins it 21-20. They hit their PAT in overtime, and then Stone Memorial did not. DeKalb County, some stats. Briz Trapp, 8 for 10, 64 yards, a couple of touchdowns, an interception. Isaac Knowles, Mr. Everything, for DeKalb, 31 rushing yards. He had 6 receptions for 57 yards, a couple of touchdowns, 9 tackles, a couple of interceptions. He just does it all, Murphy. We say that week after week after week. You know the defense is geared to stop him, but it seems like he still puts up numbers.
You know who's going to get the ball, but you can't do anything about it, and that's got to be awfully frustrating. I know that had to be a nail-biter for Coach Steve Trapp at DeKalb County to take that one into overtime, but they got the job done when they needed to.
They get the number 3 seed, Stone Memorial, the number 4 seed in Region 4-4A. Hunter Havilion, 11 for 23, 77 passing yards, also had a rushing touchdown. Smith County went to East Nashville for the Region 5 3A championship, and it was all East Nashville. We've got to give them credit. Had 4 penalties on the night. They dropped 1 pass, but Zach Beard, spot on in the passing game, 8 for 11, 131 yards, a couple of touchdowns. They got a safety to start things. Smith County got a stop on a 4th and goal from 3. They stopped them at the 1, and then 2 plays later, they get a safety, and they jump out to a 29-0 halftime lead, does East Nashville, and never look home. Now, Smith County played a lot better in the second half, but Willie Wilson, kind of the go-to guy for them, caught 6 balls for 93 yards, a couple touchdowns, also had a 52-yard punt return where the Owls didn't lay a finger on him. Smith County struggled offensively, only had 105 yards total for the night. I think they had 40 in the first half, 65 in the second half. Bryce Curry leading the way, 13 rushes for 46 yards, and unofficially, I think he's right at 998 yards, looking to go over that 1,000-yard plateau in their first-round playoff game when they host Fairview this Friday night. Kylan Johnson had 10 rushes for 35 yards. Cannon County playing for a region championship as well. They fall to Giles County 44-3. Kamara Turner 7 for 12, 135 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, also 55 rushing yards. And another score, Zarian Randolph, 7 rushes, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Murphy, just a lot of speed for Giles County.
You know, that Randolph name is kind of like the Harper name in Hartsville, the Randolph name in Pulaski. Giles County's had a Randolph on their team for quite some time, but a very good football team. I think they're rated number 3 in the state right now, if I'm not mistaken, as far as 3A schools are concerned. And Cannon County will certainly have their hands full with the Bobcats.
When you look at Cannon County, Ryan Perkins, 18 rushes for 36 yards. Jack Byford, 1-for-1 field goals for 26 yards. You know, Cannon County kind of kept it close early, Murphy. But, you know, that's the thing with speed. Over a 48-minute game, it kind of wears on you. It only takes one sliver, and, you know, they can pop it for an 80-yard run.
Talked with Coach Matt Daniel last week after that game, and he said the one thing that he was so proud of his team about was the fact that that first quarter and on into the second a little bit, they held Giles County to the stone pretty well, you know, making big plays. But like you said, the speed factor, just all Cannon County could handle and then some. Watertown,
Wow. What can you say? They go to the creek bank, trail 21-20 going to the fourth quarter, outscore the Jackets 11-0 to win that game, 31-21. I know Hartsville had 3 big fumbles, Murphy, but you got to give Gavin Webster's a lot of credit going to the number 2 team in Class 2A, Trousdale County, and winning on the creek bank. Braden Cousineau finishing his career off right, 61 passing yards, 44 rushing yards. Adam Cooper, 22 rushes for 117 yards. Brady Watts, 23 rushing yards, a couple of receptions, 9 tackles, 1 interception. But when you look at it, it was the ground game for Watertown, Murphy, that was the key to that 31-21 win.
You got to give it a lot of credit to their defense too, especially whoever the guys are that handled those defensive end positions, because Trousdale County will wear you out on the sweep, and they just didn't make that play very often against Watertown. Congratulations to Gavin and everyone involved in Purple Tiger football, because not many people going into that game figured they had a shot.
Murphy, that's 4 in a row. They won the region now 4 straight years and beat Trousdale County 4 in a row. You know, that says a lot. I know they've lost 3 years prior in the playoffs, but to beat Trousdale County 4 years in a row, that's a feather in anybody's cap.
You think that'll be part of Coach Webster's pregame talk this week?
I'm sure that it will. We'll take a look at the region scores and standings when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
At DTC, we're proud to provide the communication and entertainment services you need to get the most from today's technology.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade internet with us. Fly at the speed the internet intended you to.
Get the technology you want, backed by local customer service from neighbors you know and trust. DTC Communications, your total communications provider.
Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master maintenance technicians, maintenance trainer, electricians, miners, mill operators, mill technicians, warehouse attendant, business analyst, mine supervisor, and other amazing opportunities. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and much more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Powell & Metals Insurance, in business since 1894, provides knowledgeable and personal service to our clients. One call puts you in touch with a local agent who will help you shop from a variety of top companies. At Powell & Metals Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
We are here to help you. Let us show you what customer service is all about. Give us a call today.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair. We're going to take a look at the scores and also the upcoming playoff bracket. I know everybody's excited about that. Sonic and Carthage sponsoring this segment. Week 11 scores, which is the final week of the regular season. Joe Burns a win over Sycamore. Red Boiling Springs a win over Sunbright. So Gordonsville with their win over Clay County 21-14 gets the top spot in the region. Second is Clay County. Joe Burns and Red Boiling will both travel. Of course, Red Boiling's got to go to South Pitt. Now looking at the playoff side of the bracket, South Pittsburgh hosting Red Boiling. Murphy, that first half line's probably 50 points. South Pitt's got a lot of speed, some speed that I'm sure Red Boiling Springs hasn't seen.
Yeah, it's got to be a mixture of emotions in Red Boiling Springs after gaining a playoff slot, something that doesn't happen an awful lot in that small Macon County community. But then your reward is to go to South Pittsburgh, right. One of the teams favored to go all the way to the finals in Single A.
Of course, there are only 4 teams in that Region 4. Clay County will host Sale Creek. Sale Creek sitting there at 5-5. Joe Burns will be on the road. They'll travel to Whitwell, and then Copper Basin comes to Gordonsville. Not sure any of the higher seeds will be challenged, Murphy.
It's my understanding that that Gordonsville Copper Basin game is going to be on Thursday night.
That's correct.
So something about having a hard time finding a charter bus, and that's getting to be harder and harder, especially during playoff time because of the COVID restrictions.
Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 2A Sonic of Carthage scores and also the standings. Westmoreland a win over Harpeth. East Robertson a win over Whites Creek. So Watertown with their win over Trousdale County, 31-21. They are the top seed at 5-0. Trousdale County at 4-1. Westmoreland third. East Robertson fourth. Kind of how we thought that region was going to play out, Murphy.
Yeah, Whites Creek and Harpeth both struggling a little bit. Only one regional win between the two teams all season. And Watertown and Trousdale on top. But I think most people figured that one might be flipped. Right. Didn't happen.
Right. Got to give Watertown a lot of credit. Let's go ahead and look at their playoff bracket. You got Meigs County, a very good ball team, Murphy, and probably the odds-on favorite on the east side of the bracket to go to Chattanooga. Of course, that's a closer drive to them than Cookeville. So anyway, but Watertown or Hartsville may have something to say about that in that semifinal round. Then Trousdale County hosts Tyner. Murphy, that could be a pretty good ball game.
I think so. And the next one under that, Marion County, a team that fell to Meigs County, I think 20-0 a couple of weeks ago. That one surprised me a little bit, and I'm sure Coach Pruitt down in Jasper has learned some things as well. So whether or not they're able to get past Westmoreland and probably Watertown, that's another argument to make right there. But that's a pretty tough bracket, top to bottom in 2A.
Bledsoe County, of course, playing at Watertown on Friday night. Let's go ahead and flip the script. Let's go to the Region 4 3A scores. White County, a big win over Sequatchie County, which locked up Cannon County in that second slot, even with their loss to Giles County and Grundy County over Community. The surprise, no doubt, Cannon County, which is going to be our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week when they host Signal Mountain on Friday night. Giles County, that's not a surprise that they're up on top of the region. They were the unanimous pick to start. Sequatchie in that third slot, Grundy in the 4th slot.
If you're at home watching this show, you'll notice how come Giles County's got 4 region games and everybody else except Community has 3. COVID played a role in that. Cannon and Sequatchie did not play. Grundy and Cannon did play, but the Sequatchie lost to White County, as you said, and Cannon's win the week before against Community is what put the Lions in second place.
Let's go ahead and look at the playoff side of the bracket. Loudon, no doubt, probably the cream of the crop in this side. They're 9-1. They're hosting Grundy County. Cannon County hosting Signal Mountain. Sequatchie County going on the road to Kingston, and Sweetwater at Giles County. Murphy, will any of those be close ball games or higher seed? What do you think?
I'm afraid not. I would like to think that Cannon County's got a shot over Signal Mountain, but Loudon and Giles County probably the top 2 teams out of those 8 that are listed.
Let's go ahead and look at some more scores and standings. Out of Region 5 3A, of course, Smith County loses 36-0 at East Nashville. Jackson County on Thursday night, a big win over Maplewood to give them the number 3 seed. Stratford, the number 4 seed. East Nashville on top, played a very tough schedule at 4-0. Smith County and Matt Dyer at 5-5 and 3-1 inside the region.
Are we sure about that Jackson County Maplewood score? That looks more like a World Series game score.
You're right. You're right. Very, very close ball game there. When you look, that gets Jackson County in that 3 seed. Let's go ahead and look at the playoff side of the bracket as East Nashville will host White House Heritage. Waverly will host Jackson County. That game at Dixon County High School, I think.
Right.
Then Smith County will host Fairview, and then Stratford will play at White House. So, Murphy, I think could be some pretty good games. Maybe not the East Nashville White House Heritage, but I think all, and Waverly, no doubt, a big favorite over Jackson County. Those other 3 games could be pretty good.
I've been telling Coach Hughes at Fairview for more than 10 years that Smith County and Fairview need to play each other. They're both black and gold. They're both about 30 minutes or an hour outside of Nashville. And I think, though, this is the second time they've met. I think he told me they've been to Carthage before.
That's correct.
And they know what it's like to play in the hole, and he's very concerned about that game.
They did against Jimmy Mayer. In fact, he and I talked about that this week. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores as we look at the Region 4 4A. Upperman, big win over Livingston. Livingston 0-10 this year. Macon County, a big win over Cumberland County in a game, Murphy, that we thought would be closer than that.
I did too. I really did. Macon had not shown what we had expected in a couple of region games earlier in the season, but obviously they put it all together, and I know Coach Shoulders has got to be awfully excited about that. That gives them some momentum to go into the postseason, and it'll be interesting to see how they do against Chattanooga Central, a team that's kind of been up and down, but they still finished 6-2.
Adam Kane's Upperman Bees finished on top at 5-0. Macon County at 4-1. Just get a narrow win over DeKalb County, who finishes 3-2, and then Stone Memorial at 2-3. Let's go ahead and look at the playoff matchups. Red Bank will be hosting Stone Memorial. Macon County will host Chattanooga Central. DeKalb County will go on the road to East Hamilton, and then Soddy Daisy will travel up to Baxter to play Upperman.
The one game in that whole bracket right there that interests me is the DeKalb East Hamilton gang. DeKalb's kind of been up and down, but they have shown signs of greatness during the regular season, and if they play up to their capabilities, that could be an upset in the making right there.
Murphy, when you look, a lot of times you look at the higher seed, you think automatically they're going to win. But I think there's some matchups that we've looked at today that especially some number 3s could beat some number 2s.
I think so. And if you look at the brackets, I used to coordinate the printing of the playoff programs for about 15 years. And inevitably, there was a number 4 that would come out and beat a number 1. Dobbins Bennett was a team that had that happen to them more than once during that stretch. And nothing's guaranteed once the postseason begins.
Let's go ahead and look around the area at some of the Sonic of Carthage scores. Lebanon, a big win to end their season, 42-0, and Chuck Gentry really has the Blue Devils playing well. They're going to get, with them winning the region, they're going to get a chance to host a couple of playoff games. They got Stewart Creek First in Lebanon on Friday night. They're wanting to pack that stadium, and then they'll play, in all likelihood, Riverdale, and if they win that one, then they would face off against Oakland. Oakland went over Rockville, 49-21. Green Hill in what I'm sure was a fierce battle over Mount Juliet, 25-21. Those schools only 3 or 4 miles apart, Murphy, and that was a good one.
The vast majority of the kids on Green Hill's football team in their second year of existence were wearing black and gold to Mount Juliet a couple of years ago, and the rivalry is incredibly strong over there, and that gave Green Hill, I think, the #1 seed out of that particular region. A lot of people didn't see that coming.
Middle Tennessee Christian a win over Friendship 28-7, DCA over Nashville Christian 7-3, and Lipscomb Academy keeps on rolling 55-7. We'll have an interview with Cannon County head coach Matt Daniel when we return. As we remind you, you're watching The Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
Catch coverage of high school football action on DTC Sports each week. Watch every Friday night at 6:45 for Football Game Night as DTC Sports presents the area's best games. Watch this week exclusively streaming online as the Cannon County Lions host the Signal Mountain Eagles in the first round of the playoffs. Football Game Night all season long on DTC Sports.
The Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition encourages our teenagers to be the positive influence. Stand against the epidemic of opioid and stimulant usage by joining the Youth Coalition #TakeBackTeam. 6% of Smith County students reported misusing prescription drugs. The #TakeBackTeam challenges you to stand outside the stack. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master maintenance technicians, maintenance trainer, electricians, miners, mill operators, mill technicians, warehouse attendant, business analysts, mine supervisor, and other amazing opportunities. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and much more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
And here with head coach Matt Daniel of the Cannon County Lions. And coach, you got to be awful excited about hosting a first round playoff game.
Absolutely. We are excited over here in Woodbury. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time. And now we don't have to talk about it anymore. We can just do it now. We're in the playoffs and we're really happy over here.
Coach, this is your 4th year in charge of the program there in Woodbury, and having lived there long enough to see your entire tenure, if you will, it's very easy to see how the team has slowly but surely changed over those 4 years, not just because you've got new kids coming in after graduation and all, but the attitude, the work ethic, all the things that you've got to have a successful football program are starting to show themselves. It's been a long process, but people with patience are starting to see some great benefits now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I learned under some really good head coaches as an assistant coach, and the motto that works is a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, and then just building those relationships with your players. And I think it's finally starting to pay off on the wins and losses column as well.
Coach, when you go to a game at Woodbury, it's not like it used to be. And when I say that, you know, you've got the tailgating going on, you've got people that get there early, stay there late, and it makes it quite a spectacle when you go to a ball game in Cannon County. You've got a nice field, you know, your bleachers have improved, the atmosphere has gotten better, you got a great concession stand, so it just makes it for a fun night.
Appreciate that. You know, a lot of that stuff was done before I got here facility-wise, and we built upon that. One of the things that we talked about was making this an environment. The thing to do on Friday night is come see the high school football game, and we've tried to encourage tailgating. We've tried to encourage people to get here early, and keep continuing to do more things that are going to make the atmosphere even better. The biggest thing that we can do, and I talked to our booster club about this 3 years ago, is put a competitive football team on the field, and that will bring people in to watch that. And we're getting closer year by year.
Coach, tell us a little bit about Signal Mountain. Most people know that that's the place where the well-to-do in Hamilton County live, up on the mountain. But beyond that, it's kind of a guarded secret, if you will. They haven't been to the playoffs, I think, in the last year or two anyway. When that program first started under the direction of Bill Price several years ago, they were quite successful. Had a quarterback that ended up going to the University of Kentucky, but I know very little about that team other than what their coach told me in the survey for my magazine.
Well, we actually went down there a couple of years ago for a four-way scrimmage with Bledsoe, Signal Mountain, ourselves. I think Lookout Valley was there as well. Coach Roberts invited us down and went down there, and what we found is, you're right, kind of you wouldn't expect that to be where it's at location-wise. And for us, I think we match up well against Signal Mountain. They're a well-disciplined team. They do a lot of things right. They're going to be ready for us. I think Coach does a really good job with them down there. I can actually say that now. One of the things that's going to be challenging, I think, for them coming to us, time difference, a little bit of a bus trip for them, and we'll take advantage of the home field advantage that we have this week in the first round of the playoffs.
Coach, when you look at your team and through the years, for Cannon County to make the playoffs is a big deal, but to go another rung up the ladder and get to host and be that second place team, that's, you know, uncharted territory for the most part for Cannon County. I know a few years ago they won the district, several years, maybe 10 years ago. But when you look at that, I think that has to breed a new giant, I guess you could call it, with your team, because, you know, success and enthusiasm a lot of times go hand in hand. And when you have that success on the field, it's more enthusiastic in your school, in your program, and even in other sports programs.
Absolutely. I mean, when you get to host the first round playoff game, that's awesome. We've been talking about getting into the playoffs, and we're 1 point away against York for 2 years in a row. And we've talked about just getting the 4th place spot. This year we were fortunate enough to get the 2nd place spot, and it's runner-up in the region, hosting the region championship against Giles. And talk to our guys about that big game with Giles County. I mean, Giles is the predominant powerhouse in 3A. Even competed well in 4A. I look for that team to go on and make a run in the playoffs. But I told our guys that's a measuring stick for us. Where do we rank against the top 5 program in the state of Tennessee? And for a half of football, we kind of held right with the number 3 team. And just we could not take advantage of the opportunities given to us, and eventually we just wore down to they're able to play players on each side of the ball and lots of speed on the field. So as your up-and-coming program building something like that, it's not you're scared of that team. We want to aspire to be like that team as far as their success.
Hey, Matt, living in Cannon County as I do, it's kind of neat, whether I'm at the grocery store or whether I'm in church or whether I'm renewing my license plates at the courthouse, everybody's talking about Lion football, and that's something that has not necessarily been the case. What's the big difference between your team, say, from last year to this year?
I think our players' attitudes this year are just top notch. I mean, our guys want to be better. Going to practice is a joy with these guys. They want to improve every day. Some of the biggest critics of our football team are the players themselves because they want to be better. They've started to see what it's like to have some success. You know, we played against Warren County the last 2 years. We got to see a Mr. Football candidate for 6A football. So we've seen some people that have gone on to do bigger, better things. And that attitude, okay, well, I know what we've got to do now to get better. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. The attitude's been great this year. It continues to be great senior leadership, and even great attitude by our underclassmen, willing to put the time in. And I'm hoping that just creates an atmosphere where we can keep moving on the success that we've had this year.
Matt, expand upon what I made reference to insofar as the attitude throughout the school, because I know for a long time Cannon County's been a basketball school, and now you're trying very hard and having success at making it a football school too. What's the attitude and atmosphere in the school hallways this week with a home playoff game right on the immediate horizon?
You know, for our fan base, it's kind of like, wow, what does that mean? Well, we get to host the first round. The team's coming here to us instead of us having to travel. And I think early on, people were like, wow, that's pretty awesome. That's amazing. And our guys are just, you can sense in our guys and their excitement because they come down to weight training. Weight training's a lot easier when you're having success. They know they're in the playoffs. They know that they're hosting the first round. So practices this week have been great. And there's people in the hallways patting our football players on the back. You know, earlier in the season, we won a couple of games against some non-district people and said, oh, yeah, wait till you guys get to district. We'll see how you do. Then we won against the Grundy, we won against community, and really solidifying those region wins to get us set up for this playoff year.
Coach, when you look, I know that Friday night's going to be a special atmosphere in Cannon County, and I'm sure probably one of the biggest crowds, an overflow crowd as far as your stands go for, you know, that game. I'm sure there'll be a lot of lawn chairs out in the crowd because you've got a lot of places you can sit on that home sideline back behind the fence.
Well, there's going to be one special chair set up towards the end zone. My dad used to love to sit at the end zone, and I lost him a few weeks ago. So there'll definitely be a chair set up there with his name on it. You know what's great about high school football is that former teammates of his have reached out to me just to talk about him. I got a letter from Coach Bishop, his high school head coach, and it meant the world to me to get something like that in the mail, and I shared that with my players right before the community game. And I don't get emotional much, but that was one of those times that I kind of did. And his chair will be out there with his name on the back of it. You're right. Our home crowd loves to bring their lawn chairs. I'm sure there'll be a few heaters out there Friday night. Take the bite out of the cold air that we'll have here Friday night. But that's just football weather and playoff time.
Hey Matt, can we build a little campfire up on the hill there if we need to?
That'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think now it's past October 15th. You have to have a burn permit.
Okay.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you and the Lions in hosting that home playoff game, against Signal Mountain. And, 32 teams left in Class 3A, and everybody starts 0-0. So, I know you're excited about getting your team on a roll.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys for what you do for high school football in Tennessee. I appreciate it.
Good luck, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Matt Daniel has been our guest, and we'll look at this week's upcoming games, including the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports, and get the Gurus matchups. Murphy's going to pick them all for us when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
So, go check it out.
Deterring crime. It's the first job of a home security system from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Let us help protect your home.
So?
A lot of nice stuff and an alarm.
Don't delay. Call DTC Security now or visit us online.
Powell & Metals Insurance, in business since 1894, provides knowledgeable and personal service to our clients. One call puts you in touch with a local agent who will help you shop from a variety of top companies. At Powell & Metals Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
We are here to help you. Let us show you what customer service is all about. Give us a call today.
The Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition encourages our teenagers to be the positive influence. Stand against the epidemic of opioid and stimulant usage by joining the Youth Coalition #TakeBackTeam. 6% of Smith County students reported misusing prescription drugs. The #TakeBackTeam challenges you to stand outside the stack. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. And Murphy, your hometown school, Cannon County, our game of the week. They get to host in the playoffs this week. They host Signal Mountain. And I know people in Cannon County are abuzz over hosting a first-round playoff game. They're usually excited just to be in the playoff, but this time, finishing as the number 2 seed, they get to host.
I think that's the only time Cannon County has this will be the second time that Cannon County has ever hosted a first-round game in the postseason. And yes, there is some excitement and talk circulating throughout Woodbury for that one. Ought to be a good one. I'm planning on attending.
Let's go ahead and look at the history of the series between these two schools. It's the first all-time meeting, first playoff appearance for Cannon County in 12 years since 2009. Lions' lone playoff win came in 1978 when they beat Castle Heights 25-8. Ryan Perkins leading the way for Cannon County, over 1,000 yards on 142 carries, 1,071 yards, 13 touchdowns. Signal Mountain coach Josh Roberts, 24-27 in his 5th season. And there's about 60 miles in between the two clubs, which, you know, is not that great because we've seen some of these playoff matchups, Murphy. It's a long travel.
That's true, and that has to be one of the last games that Castle Heights ever played in Lebanon. At one time, it was quite the military school, if you will, with a great history, and we both know a lot of people who ended up graduating from Castle Heights.
For sure, we do. Murph, I know you got a lot of picks to look forward to, and you know, as these playoffs go on, those picks are going to get tougher.
Well, they will, and like I said, the hard part is trying to figure out which number 4 is going to be the number 1 in this first week of competition.
Let's go ahead and look at those picks. First of all, Copper Basin, 2-6, traveling to Gordonsville. Of course, that game's on Thursday night, not Friday night.
Gordonsville's coaching staff could let the first team have a break that whole evening. Copper Basin struggling. They had a really good football team last year and year before, but that was the coach's son. He's moved on to playing at the next level. Gordonsville ought to have an easy test in that one.
Bledsoe County traveling to Watertown.
Last time I saw Bledsoe County play, regular season or not, was at Watertown. And it hasn't been but about 3 or 4 years when that happened. Watertown has, I think, beaten Bledsoe every time they play it.
You know, Bledsoe County gave Trousdale County all they wanted in a playoff game here a couple of years ago. If I remember right, Bledsoe County was undefeated in that ball game, and Hartsville went to Pikeville and pulled out a big win in the playoffs. Signal Mountain going to Woodbury and playing against Cannon County.
I think Cannon is probably the underdog in that game, but Matt Daniel has got those kids playing awfully hard, and the kids understand all too well what a win against Signal Mountain could mean for the football program there. You would think Signal Mountain that their nickname would be the Mountain Lions, but they're the Eagles instead. But I'm going to go with the Lions in this one.
Fairview at Smith County, that should be a good one.
Two teams pretty equally matched, two really good coaches. I got to go with the Owls, though, on that homer.
And then DeKalb County making the trip down to Chattanooga to face East Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with the homers in DeKalb County. I think East Hamilton probably a team capable of winning that game, but I think DeKalb is too. It just depends on who makes the most mistakes.
All right, Murph, we're going to look kind of statewide at some ball games. Most of these are in Middle Tennessee, and you know, Stewart's Creek coming out of a tough region over there with Oakland and Riverdale, traveling to Lebanon. That won't be a pushover for the Blue Devils.
Not at all. Ben Caudell, a really, really good young coach at Stewart's Creek. I've really been impressed with what he's done in the brief time he's been in that position. But Coach Gentry, a Carthage native, you and I both have known him since he was born, just about. And he's learned from some good ones, and Lebanon's on a pretty good roll this year. I got to go with the Blue Devils in that one.
Gallatin traveling to Smyrna. Gallatin has struggled at times this year. Of course, they're under former Gordonsville alumnus Chad Watson is their head coach of the Green Wave.
Yeah, that's one of those games that can go either way. Smyrna has struggled as well. They don't have the big name players like Nat Williams has had in the past, and but I think playing at home will suit Smyrna very well in that one.
All right, Murph, Rockville at Shelbyville.
I'm going to have to go with Rockville. Shelbyville, a team that was scared to death that they were going to be put in the same region with Oakland and Riverdale and that bunch, but they almost formed a whole new region with them in Cookeville and Warren County and so on. But I think Rick Rice has got the team that can beat Shelbyville this year, so I'm going to have to go with Rockville.
Whitehaven traveling to Ravenwood. Now, that's one of those first-round matchups I was telling you, Murph. That's a long trip.
It really is, and could be a great game. Both of those teams have played in the championship games. Both have won state championships. But Will Hester's back at Ravenwood now after 3 or 4 years in Florence, Alabama, and I've got to go with Ravenwood on that one.
Tullahoma just keeps rolling. Chester County going to Tullahoma in the first round. I think Tullahoma is going to go deep.
Tullahoma 10-0 this year, 10-0 during the regular season. I think John Olive's got the team with his quarterback this year that they could go 3 or 4 rounds.
Well, Murph, it's been fun. We'll look forward to next week's playoffs, the second round, when there's only 16 teams left. There's 32 in each division now.
Put the radar out and slow everything down. This season has gone really quickly, but I think the Upper Cumberland's going to be well represented in the postseason.
Definitely should be. In our area, teams that we cover have had a lot of success, all making the playoffs. For Justin, for Murphy, I'm Terry. We want to thank you for watching the box score, and we'll see you next week.